To lower 80s on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the Weather Center.
Discover the holiday preview event with 50% off everything at Banana Republic Factory for a limited time. From essential sweaters to timeless outerwear, explore the best of the season starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online. Only at Banana Republic Factory.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Discover the holiday preview event with 50% off everything at Banana Republic Factory for a limited time. From essential sweaters to timeless outerwear, explore the best of the season starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online. Only at Banana Republic Factory.
Duty, honor, country. Veteran John Soka wrote the law that exempts military retirement pay from NC income tax. As county commissioner, he'll continue to fight for all military families. He has an outstanding record of working with both parties to deliver for Cumberland County. John Soka, an author of the 2021 budget that brought $412 million to our county, he'll continue fighting for us as a county commissioner.
Paid for by the committee to elect John Soka.
I am Judge Gail Adams, and I am running for the Court of Appeals. I was raised in the tobacco fields of Warren County by a single mother of 4. I am a wife and mother of 4. I proudly served my country in the U.S. Navy as a JAG officer. I am a former prosecutor and public defender, and I currently serve as a Superior Court judge. I share your values and invested in a justice system that works for all, regardless of who you are or where you come from. Please vote for me, Judge Gail Adams, for the Court of Appeals.
Paid for by the committee to elect Gail Adams.
Bless me, guide me. Death has been defeated. He is our victory. Bless me, God, not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything they need.
We're your radio station of inspiration and information, WIDU, the We Do Radio Network. Good evening and welcome. It's time now for the ever so popular, ever so informative, ever so right on time radio talk show. The Tammy Thurman Radio Talk Show on WIDU. We do. Let us enjoy the lady of the hour, your host, executive producer, the beautiful, the lovely, the blessed, mighty one, Miss Tammy Thurman.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are live on the air with a nation of sisters. Guys, we have got an amazing show today. I'm telling you, I say it every time, but today is going to be incredible. Again, it's your girl, Tammy Thurman, with a nation of sisters. We've got so many facets today. We've got Glenn Adams, County Commissioner, in the house. We've got Pastor Jonathan Fletcher of Manna Church. Shout out to Manna Church. We've got Gary Rogers, my god brother from another mother, yes. And we've got Brian Pierce, Vice President of Cape Fear Valley Medical Hospital, and my friend. I'm so excited today. Today is going to be an amazing day. It is the first Wednesday of the month, and I'm not going to prolong. We are going to give some quick information. I told you guys, all of my Nation of Sisters followers, thank you so much for rocking with me. We've got something that is an amazing presentation for you today, and I want to turn this part over to Gary Rogers, who's just going to kind of help me co-host this for just a few minutes. Gary?
And I understand this is my opportunity to take over your show so that we can celebrate you, and we are so blessed to have two of our great team members with the Greater Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce, our interim CEO and president, Ms. Tony Dixon, one of our workhorses who does all of our marketing and stuff, Miss Robin Pitt, and I know that you guys have something that we would like to give Miss Tammy, and of course the Nation of Sisters. So if you guys want to come on up and let's celebrate her for just a second for all the great work she does on this show right here.
Yes. So you guys can talk if you want to talk.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being
Our board chair this year, your leadership has been phenomenal, and we appreciate everything that you're doing and have done for the chamber. And that's why we're here to present to you this trophy on behalf of yourself as our board chair and Nation of Sisters. We appreciate you so very much. You have taken this leadership role on so much, and it's been empowering to us as well. So if I can, I'd like to read what's on the trophy for you.
Sure.
And it says, this distinguished award is presented as a symbol of appreciation and in recognition of the tireless dedication, skillful leadership, and your hard work.
Thank you so much, guys. If you haven't really caught on, this is an award. Thank you so much. She's like,
I just want to be careful.
That is awesome. So, guys, I don't know if y'all could see this. Yeah, everybody can see it. Thank you. Congratulations. Sure. So this is from the Greater Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce, recognizing myself as the founder of a Nation of Sisters. God gave me this vision about 3-4 years ago to just find a platform where I can be a motivator for women, and not just women, but I wanted to take it back to girls who are in the 7th grade and the 8th grade, who are in the high school level, because we need mentors, right? When I grew up, I had strong shoulders to stand on. And by the grace of God, I am who I am today because of that. But now that my shoulders are strong enough, I'm going to have some girls standing on mine. So I just want to give a shout out also to Miss Jaslyn. I know she's listening now. I met her at one of our chamber events a couple of weeks ago, young girl, and walked right up to me and said, what can she do? And that, oh my God, that just really blessed my heart. But I just want to tell on behalf of a Nation of Sisters, thank you so much for this recognition. It means everything to us. So thank you so much for stopping by, guys. All right. Y'all have a blessed day. All right, I'm excited. So a Nation of Sisters, again, thank you so much for rocking with us today and always. I just want to give a shout out also to, I want to give a shout out. I just want to let you guys know where we are reaching. Right now, Fayetteville, Charlotte, Dunn, Raleigh, Chicago, Greensboro, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, PA, Washington, D.C., Virginia. Those are some of the places that we are reaching right now. But I really wanted to let you know that we are not just reaching in the local areas, but we are also reaching Nigeria, Bangladesh, British Virgin Islands, Germany, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea. I am just so blessed. The South Sudan. Who would have thought? But God said, this is going to be your time. And I just want to make God proud, because when God gives you a platform, he gives you a place to stand in his name. He gives you the grace. He gives you the grace to fulfill that. He will never give you a vision without giving you provision, right? So I'm just so blessed. I'm so blessed. And I just want God to be proud, because I put my all in all into this. But I just want the young girls to know that you don't have to turn on the radio and listen to Beyonce or wait for Beyonce to come around. You've got me. You've got some strong female leaders that are not just in this community, but they're all around you, that when you need somebody to talk to, you can pick up that phone and they're going to answer the call, right? They're not going to just want to take a picture and put it on Facebook and then keep moving. No, you've got me for life. As long as you want me, as long as you need me, you've got me. Well, today is a bit of a twist. Right, so we have an all-male panel that I normally do once every year. I do the all-male panel because I want the guys to kind of just tune in and let us know from your heart what it actually means to be a big brother, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a sister, how important those things are, how important it is to be that husband that's always there for your wife, or that boyfriend, or whatever you want to call it for the lady, just to make, to know that women are, the Word of God says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? But it means so much when it comes from y'all. when we hear you say it, when we hear Dad tell us that, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and then when it's time for me to go to school, when it's time for me to leave and go to college, and I run into a man that's interested in me, when he starts talking to me that way, my mind is not blown because Dad has already planted those seeds in me, and I already know who I am, but most importantly, I know whose I am, right? So let's just jump right into the conversation. Glenn Adams, thank you so much for joining us today. How's things been going today?
Thank you. It's always a great day. Every day is a great day. I tell everybody it's about how you wake up in the morning, how you want your day to be. If you wake up, feeling bad, but if you wake up and tell the Lord, thank you for waking me up another day and you gave me this, I'm going to make the most of it. And so you can either take the option that I'm going to woe is me all day, or hey, I'm going to revel in what I'm doing today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so we have Brian Pierce in the building. We have Gary Rogers in the building. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for inviting us.
Awesome.
Always glad to be here.
Awesome. And we have Al Cherry. He is from Charlotte. He could not be with us today, but he is online. Al, can you hear us?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. How's everything going in the Queen City today?
It's wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. So I want to just dive right into this conversation, and I'm going to start with our pastor from Manna Church. How's everything going? He is a father of
7 total children.
7 total children. He had to be on the show today.
Had to be. And I'm so honored, I'm sure as the rest of this panel is. I mean, once a year is when you have the men on, and we made the cut. So I feel like that makes us incredibly special that we're in the building today.
All foolish, one or the other.
It could be that. I do have a bone to pick, though, Tammy. I mean, if we're reaching, all those places, I feel like the men's panel should be held in the British Virgin Islands next year. I feel like it should be a report from there. You guys with me on that?
100%.
I'm sorry, I hijacked what you were asking.
No, it's great. So I just really want to kind of start with the importance of a man in her life. So and I really want to start with you because I know you have 7 children and 5 are girls?
5 are girls.
Yeah. How important is that for you to start, and at what age do you feel like, it's time for me to start implanting, because if I don't, the world will?
That's such a fantastic question. It takes me to a book, I think it was by John Eldridge. I read this little book, and it was written for fathers of daughters, and I don't remember the book at all, except for, sometimes you read it, except for this one line that I think characterized how I approach parenting daughters. Our first 4 children were daughters. I thought I was always just going to be a girl dad. And so I was reading this book, and again, I don't know any of the rest of it other than this one little refrain that was, God has designed every woman to hear and understand this phrase, I'm lovely. And he put dads in their lives to begin to tell them that until they could learn to hear God's voice saying it. So in so many ways, I think it's so important as a dad to come along behind, with daughters, wives, women in your life, and answer those fundamental, or speak to those fundamental things that God wants to say to every human soul.
Yeah.
And in a positive, supporting, loving, protecting way. You are lovely. You are fearfully. You said it already, Psalm 139. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Yep. Wonderful are God's works. What works are we talking about? You, little girl, you are wonderful. You have a huge destiny, and all of those things that begins to help her understand that's who she's created to be. So any other voice that comes in and tries to change that, or hey, I'll say that to you, but you owe me whatever. No, it's like, this is who you are. And anything that tries to steal from that, we need to set the tone early so that the voice they're used to is the same thing that God wants to say.
Wow. And your voice for me should be that dominating, that predominant voice, and it should be that first voice.
Absolutely.
That they hear. And I know a lot of times, and I know I have a lot of young girls right now listening. They inbox me all day, every day. They're listening right now. For those who may not have the dad around, may have an uncle around, or a big brother who's not related to you, how do you tell a girl that who's not your own?
That's a great question. I think you got to, I mean, like some of those deep things to a person's heart, you got to build the equity so that the other person, or the lady in this case, understands that when you're expressing that affirmation, that true heart of love, that you expect and want nothing from her. So like you got to build the equity that demonstrates over time that if I'm going to step into that surrogate dad role, it is always my job is to bless you, not to receive from you. And I think when you have built that, then you can probably be in the position to actually accurately be heard when you say you're special, you're wonderful, you're amazing, like you're so talented, and it's not for my benefit, it's for yours.
And something that you're saying that's just really standing out to me, and Glenn, I want you to touch on it, is when I say these things to you, my niece, my daughter, my sister, when I say these things to you, know that I don't want anything in return. I don't want anything back from you. Because when I was in college, thank God there was no Facebook when I was in college, but when I was in college, to hear those things, there was always a, okay, now. Okay, you're really pretty. I've heard that all my life. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. And okay, so now what's next? And it should have never been a what's next. What are your thoughts on that? Let's talk about it.
Well, I have 2 daughters. I got a wife and 2 daughters. And I will tell you that it's about your actions of how you do this. It's the affirmation of telling them that, you are loved for you, not for anything else, but just because God made you, that is enough. It's not anything else more than God made you, and He made you in His image, and you to be loved just for who you are. And the one thing I tell young girls, and I even tell dads, I think it's important for dads to hear this.
Yeah,
is that the one thing that I wanted to make sure, and I'm an attorney by trade, and so I see a lot of people, and I see a lot of young ladies, but the man that your daughter meets should not be the first man that impresses her.
Yes.
So you should be able to take her to a 5-star restaurant. You ought to be able to save up all your money if you have to. Take her to the mall, buy her some nice piece of jewelry, or take her to a hotel with her mom or whatever, or some young ladies. So that I wanted my daughters to know that when that guy came up and said, hey, I'm going to take you over here to this restaurant, she says, done that, been there. That doesn't impress me.
Right.
Because people get impressed by these things, and they believe these material things are what is going to draw these young girls in. And so it's not about material things. I think Reverend Fletcher was right. You got to understand, you don't want anything in return. But I do believe we all get something in return. I took, my wife and I took a young lady from the orphanage. Didn't want anything in return, but just the fact that we were able to do that, what God put in us was amazing. It's what you feel, the feeling good of what we got. It's not anything that she was going to do or what the young lady's going to do. It's what you get by giving.
Yeah.
When you give, what you get back is just amazing. So people ask every day, why are you in such a good mood? Because if I can give and I see that I've been blessed somebody, I'm good for that. I don't have to get anything in return. And I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, yep. I want to co-sign. I not want to take all the time.
Sure,
I think
and you guys jump in at any point.
So beautiful there, because a lot of people get confused about the action of love. The action of love is always give, it's never take.
Never take.
And that's what I heard in what you're saying,
right.
is it's, that's where it gets confused. Hey, I love you, therefore you got to, no.
You got to reciprocate.
The action of love is always give.
That's right.
Yeah, and so you said something so huge. What does love really look like? Do I love you the best way I can love you, or do I love you the way that you need to be loved?
Right.
Well, to me, it's as simple as this. On your worst day, at your bottom part, I feel the same way about you at your best part.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with relating sometimes. I don't have a daughter. I have a 5-year-old son, which is a battle in itself. But I also know that it's my responsibility that's going to be someone's husband one day. He's going to be the head of some house one day.
That's good.
He's going to be in charge of leading this house and having a foundation of God. So if I can't instill that in him now, then he's not going to be who he's supposed to be. And it's so funny. He's got his girlfriends that he calls, that young ladies that go to church. Actually, it was one of your past guests. It's his Victoria's daughter.
Oh my goodness!
Calls them his girlfriend, and it's funny because when you see them interact, they have so much fun and they play. And I have to remind him. I go, all right, buddy, let me tell you how you do this. And
that's good.
When we go to restaurants, I open my wife's door before I open his door. And he asks me why. And I go, because that's what you do.
Listen.
When we sit down for dinner and we talk about our day, we start with Mama. We start with my wife. And he goes, well, why does she get to start? And I go, because that's the lady of the house. Because our goal here is to love her, and because she gives us unconditional love regardless, even on our worst days, But I'm saying God put us in here to lead this, and we're going to do this the right way.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that the things that he picks up on. So all of a sudden, when they're walking to class on Sunday morning, he might open the door for one of his little girlfriends or whatever it is. And I'll see that and I go, thank you, God. I'm trying to get this right. Just help me get this right.
Yeah.
And especially in communication, that seems to be a tough part, trying to get him to communicate and to understand that you've got to say these things out loud. I know you're thinking them. I can see it rolling. I can see the smoke coming out your ears. I know you're thinking, we got to put this into action.
And I think something that you said is so awesome, that you're showing him how to be that man for his wife. And we have lost that. We have lost that teaching moment. And that's why I feel like a lot of our young women have gone astray and not realize exactly who they are. When you don't know who you are, you don't know what to expect. So whatever comes at you, you just receive it. And I'm here to say that is, as long as I have this platform, I am stopping that. We have got to know who we are, because I expect more. And when my expectations are high, this ain't going on sale. If this is $100,000, that's how much you got to pay. It's $100,000. It ain't going on sale, because God didn't make me as a $5 person. He made me a $100,000 person, and that's what you got to go to.
That's right.
And if you want to find me, you got to find me in the heart of God. Find me in the heart of God. So 7th grade, 8th grade, and I was doing a little reading on statistics and so forth, and finding that so many young girls, 13 to the age of 16, are getting pregnant. And it just really hurts my heart to hear that they don't really get to enjoy their life at a 13-year-old, at the age of 13. So, Brian, let's talk about how do we talk to our young girls that are just approaching high school or maybe in high school. I mean, we've all been in high school. We remember what things went on in high school, and when we went to college. How do we talk to them? And Pastor Fletcher said something huge: gaining their trust, right? Knowing that they can trust us when we talk to them. But I want to hear from your perspective.
So I'm the anomaly. I have no children.
Right.
But as a result of that, I think God's called me to work with children in general. And one of the things that I love doing at my church and working with the children is to show them that you can have fun and be a Christian in a Christian atmosphere and Christian fellowship at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you do, is that you do activities around the church, you do activities that are focused on God, and children see, young women can see, hey, I can enjoy this, I can have a good time, mm-hmm. I can be respected, I can be around men who want nothing of me and still value and love me. And that's what it is seeing that people can respect you, that you can love you and not expect anything in return. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just how we do it.
Absolutely. And you hit something right on the head. Giving them those activities, giving them those opportunities to work around other people and work around other men who don't want anything from you, but just to actually give and implant the love of God in you. We don't want anything in return. And I'm speaking as, I'm channeling y'all, but I'm saying we don't want anything in return. What we're giving you is genuine. Genuinely, we just want you to know that you are loved, that you are an amazing woman of God, that you will be that amazing woman of God. Al Cherry, are you listening? Did you want to chime in?
I can chime in just a little bit. A gentleman said something earlier about impressing, make an impression on your daughters. Yes, I was hands-on from day one with my daughters, showing them things, going places, and just being a hands-on father from like day one to show it, just like leading as an example. So, yes, I'm agreeing with everything everyone said, and I've been doing it, and I carried it on. I was a neighborhood dad. I took all my daughters, their friends, to activities, football games, basketball games. If the girls was inappropriate in any kind of way, I took them home and told them. They called me the snitch because So, I was hands-on. I was at every one of them chaperone parties. So I think that I went to over maybe 15 to 20, 16 parties and hands-on and, regulate because because single moms, I was that dad that stood in place, make an example how a father or a friend or older man should be.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I think what I'm hearing is, I know my place as a father. I know my place as sometimes the friend, right? But we don't let those two intermingle because we will get to the point where we don't want to tell, or we say, okay, she'll figure it out on her own. No, if you see the time that you need to say something, you need to say something. Glenn, why are you looking at me like that?
No, I don't have a problem. I think though that what you got to do is, we can talk about all of that. It's your actions. Mm-hmm. These kids see what you do, mm-hmm. and they are watching when you don't even know they're watching. Your kids are watching when they know when you don't even know they're watching. And so, the one thing I tell everybody is that you have to build up the self-esteem in everybody, men and young boys and young girls. Yeah. It's about making them feel valued for themselves. If you feel valued for yourself, you're not going to come up here and rub on me because, wait a minute, hold on a minute. I'm different than that.
That's right. Let's talk about it. Let's go there.
I'm not like everybody in the room. And so, I used to tell my children, look, you can do bad all by yourself.
I can do it.
And
I can do
it. Kids would call my house, and I would always answer the phone. Now they got cell phones. Say, yeah, how old I am. I'm going to show how old I am here. And I would talk to each one of the kids. I was like, what kind of grades you making? I'm making C's and D's. I said, well, let me tell you what. Don't call back here until you make some A's and B's, because my kids can be bad by themselves. So I went over to the school one day.
That's awesome.
I was over at the school one day, and it was actually my son, and the little girl was kept pointing at me. And I went over and I said, well, why are you pointing at me? Because you called me dumb. You called me stupid. I said, what? I don't even know you. I called your house, and you told me because I was making C's and D's, I couldn't talk to your son. And she said, I said, well, what you making now? I'm making A's and B's because you won't going to let me sit here and tell me how dumb I am. Well, now you can call him. But that's what we have to pour in our kids, is that you can do bad all by yourself. You don't need to be in a group of people that is not doing anything. If you want to soar with eagles, then you hang out with eagles. If you want to be in the barnyard, you hang out with the chickens. But you got to decide where you want to be in this. And you dictate to people around you. If you talk to a bunch of the lawyers that are around you, it's amazing that when people in a group, that the IQ goes down to the lowest person in the group. I've never understood that. And I tell my children, you don't be the lowest one in the, you don't have the lowest IQ, so you got to speak up. Sometimes our kids who are doing well are afraid to speak out because they worry about other folk then disowning them or disassociating with them or talking to them. And you got to be able to tell kids, you can stand alone. It's okay to stand alone. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a part of the pack. You can stand out, and once you stand out, you will see people who gravitate to you.
But Glenn, that is so hard to do. Now, I'm that type of person that you just described. I can be alone at all times, and a lot of times I am alone. But I'm finding now that these kids don't want to be alone for whatever reason. They feel like they have to be attached to somebody. Go ahead.
It's not even somebody, it's something.
Okay.
Yes.
These
Okay.
cell phones have turned us into, I can't ever be alone. I've got to have something. I've got to watch something. I've got to talk to something. My kids thought I was crazy. At 10 o'clock, they had to turn their cell phones in. And they didn't get them for the rest of the night. If it didn't get on the charger by 10, you didn't get it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted you to be able to go get a good night's sleep without worrying about what was on there. We are so linked into these cell phones.
Yep.
What we need to do for some of our kids is just disconnect. Every now we just disconnect. Go to church. Go to the park. Go to the movies. Disconnect for a couple of hours or whatever.
All right, hold that thought, guys. We are going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back with the Nation of Sisters.
But so everyone around me can have everything they need. Let all the soldiers
It's pretty nice weather ahead over the next few days. Some sprinkles around tonight, otherwise mostly cloudy skies with temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s tonight. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds Thursday, a couple of spotty sprinkles late in the day with highs in the low 70s. It's partly cloudy Friday with highs in the mid-70s, and partly cloudy Saturday with highs in the upper 70s to lower 80s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the Weather Center.
Survivors and loved ones of the victims of the Parkland school shooting berated gunman Nicholas Cruz for a second day. Cruz will be sentenced today to life in prison for the 2018 massacre that left 17 dead and others wounded at Florida's Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. Meanwhile, the Hedingham mass shooting in Raleigh has led Robert Steele, the fiancé of one of the victims, Mary Marshall, to ask the entire Raleigh City Council to resign. He said the city should have issued an emergency alert when the shooting was first reported so that people could flee. Health officials announcing the first pediatric flu death of the season in North Carolina. It was in the eastern part of the state. This comes after last week's announcement of the first adult flu death in the West. Stocks closed broadly lower on Wall Street after the Fed chief signaled it's too early for the central bank to consider pausing interest rate hikes. S&P down 2.5%, Dow and NASDAQ also down. The NFL's Washington Commanders could be for sale soon. Bruce Farrell, NCN News.
Dad, I need you to vote for Dr. Frances Jackson for state rep. She is a teacher who will make sure our public schools have the funds that they need so that kids here can be successful.
Dear Grandma, please vote for Dr. Jackson because she wants to expand affordable health care to 500,000 more people in North Carolina.
Dear Mom, Dr. Jackson is the only candidate who will reduce the chemicals in our drinking water and hold polluters accountable. Please support her.
Dr. Frances Jackson for state representative.
Paid for by Francis Vanell Jackson Campaign Committee.
Fayetteville and surrounding, Alon Entertainment presents the electrifying stage play, First Lady, a powerful true stage play about domestic violence and mental illness happening in the church.
You came home from revival with lingerie in your bag?
That's the problem. It's your mouth. And it all takes place Saturday, November 12th at Fayetteville State University's C. Brooks Auditorium. Pre-show at 6:30 p.m. and showtime 7 p.m. Get tickets now at the Fayetteville State box office or alon-entertainment1.ticketlead.com. Written and produced by Alondria McCoy.
Voting is not only our right, it is our power. And we're counting on you to encourage 3 friends to vote before November the 8th. Text them, call them, DM them, tag them, because more black voters means more black power. And no one has more power to protect our community than us. Encourage 3 friends and family members to vote today. Who represents us is decided by those who show up, especially when we show up in numbers. Paid for by North Carolina Black Alliance, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Black women are a powerful force. We used our voices to make history before. Now we can do it again and stand up against extremist anti-choice politician Ted Budd. Ted Budd is a threat to the safety and well-being of women in our community. Budd co-sponsored a bill to ban abortion nationwide with no exceptions for rape or incest. He opposed the Women's Health Protection Act that protects the right to access abortion care throughout the country. And Budd refused to protect our right to birth control. Ted Budd will take us backwards. North Carolina deserves a senator who will protect our rights. Sherry Beasley.
Who makes the decision for a woman and her family? Is it you and your doctor, or is it politicians up in Washington?
Sherry Beasley will fight for our freedoms and our future. Get all the women you know to vote early through November 5th or on November 8th for Sherry Beasley for Senate. Paid for by Women Vote, which is responsible for the content of this ad. www.womenvoteproject.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Experience and integrity matter. Hi, I'm Superior Court Judge Mark Sternlicht, and I'm running in the November election after being appointed in May 2021. As a lawyer with 42 years of experience, I represented people in civil rights, injury, and employment cases. The most important part of being a judge is to treat everyone fairly and equally. Remember, experience and integrity matter, so vote for Judge Mark Sternlicht. Early voting ends November 5. Paid for by the committee to keep Judge Mark Sternlicht.
The radio station of inspiration and information, WIDU, the entire We Do Radio Network. We're back with the second half segment of A Nation of Sisters radio talk show with your host, Executive Director, Miss Tammy Thurman. Back to you, boss lady.
So we are back. Thank you so much for tuning in with the Nation of Sisters. We are in the building with Jonathan Fletcher, pastor at Manna Church, Gary Rogers, Beasley Media. We are with Brian Pierce, my friend from Cape Fear Valley Medical Hospital, and the chair of the county commissioners here in Cumberland County, Mr. Glenn Adams. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Thank you again so much for being here with us. Ladies, I know you guys are used to seeing an all-female panel, but I do my once per year all-male panel, and today is that day, and we're having some really great, amazing conversations with the guys here, just letting us know their perspective on how to speak to our young girls, how to motivate them, how to encourage them to be the absolute best person that they could possibly be. So now we're going to kind of switch gears and go up to our college-age ladies who are ready to go into the workforce. So when I went into the workforce after college, I really wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go in. I just knew it was communications. I knew I was a person who was going to be talking a lot. And so I went into telecommunications, worked there. I was a teacher for a while and ended up back into utilities, right? And so I ended up in working for a utility company, which I've currently been in now for about 19 years, and it is dominated by men. And so a lot of times when I go into a room or I'm on a board or I go to a different county, I'm typically probably the only female, but most often the only black female that's in the room. And so I want you guys to talk to us today about how to go into a career knowing that there may be some pushback, maybe that you may feel like you don't fit quite yet into that arena, but you know that that's where you want to go. How would you encourage, and I want to start with you, Brian. I keep looking at Brian. I want to start with you, Brian, and just kind of talk to you, because we've got, first of all, shout out to Fayetteville State University, shout out to Campbell University, shout out to Methodist University, North Carolina State University. I can keep going on and on and on. Central, A&T, I know you guys are tuning in. Thank you so much for rocking with us today. But Brian, I want you to talk to those girls who are saying, where am I going to go and will I fit in when I get there?
Absolutely. And so I'm unique and I have two kind of professions. I'm a paramedic and an engineer. Both of those are traditionally male-dominated professions like you talked about. One of the neat things that I've seen happen over my career is that more and more women are getting into both of those professions. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's just to try it. The neat part about doing it, the more diverse our workforce is, male, women, different ethnicities, mm-hmm. the more ideas you get. Somebody at work says all the time, none of us are as smart as all of us. And so you get different perspectives. And through my career, I've learned that I can only think how I was raised. I can only think like a man.
Right.
But women think differently, and when they get in the workplace and they express their ideas, and as a paramedic, for example, there are many times when there is a need for women to provide that care, or a woman feels more comfortable having a woman care for her in the time of an emergency. And so the more diverse we are, the more people that enter the workforce and are able to care, I think the better care we can provide, particularly as a health system and healthcare, is to have a truly diverse workforce so we can care for the people in our community, because our whole community is sick.
And I like what you said about the diverse workforce, and that you pointed out the ambulatory component of it, because for years, if a woman was going to the medical place, what's her first position? A nurse. Everybody assumes and makes that assumption that if you're a female, that's the area that you're going to go in. But Brian, what do you tell them? You know,
they just have to try it and get into it. I mean, if they try it and get it, a lot of times you don't see people that look like you, so that tends to cause people not to go to engineering school or not to go to paramedic school. But there's so many opportunities to do it, that just go to school, find what you like. Fortunately, with paramedics, a lot of people would go into nursing schools. Nursing schools were full. And so they would say, what's another healthcare profession I could go in? And they would look, oh, okay, here's paramedic. That's very similar. They would get in that and they would really enjoy it. And as it opens up, I think they enjoy it. They tell other people. The more people that get in it, you see people around you that look like you, and then that helps you to do that. I mean, I was very proud the other day. I passed you're not talking about people that look like you. One of our ambulances had 2 African-American females that were going up to get a patient in the hospital. I think that's the first time I'd ever seen that.
Wow.
And I was extremely excited that we've got that much of a diverse workforce that's now, you know, working for our community.
That's huge. That's huge. So, ladies, I want you to hear what he's saying. If you're interested in going to the medical field, there are so many different facets that you can take advantage of. So don't just limit yourself to being a nurse. Nothing against nurses, because Cape Fear, we need them right now. At Cape Fear, we need as many nurses as we can get. But don't limit yourself and think, I'm just going to be a nurse. I mean, you could keep going. You could be that doctor. You could be that surgeon. You can be that ambulatory person. You can be the president. Yes, the president of Cape Fear Valley Medical Hospital. Shout out to Roxy Wells, who's the president of Hoke County, Cape Fear Valley. I'm so proud of her. Gary, let's switch gears. So in the media industry, is there a balance there?
There is, honestly, and about every facet of the media, where it comes with either on-air talent, where it comes to sales, and even different areas as far as traffic and stuff like that. We are very diverse. My boss is a woman, and she is incredibly
awesome,
talented. And it's amazing, because you need that, because the people we represent are as diverse as we are. So, and that's not just the audience that listens, but it's also the businesses that advertise with us. And we have a lot of women-owned businesses here, so we need to be able to have a representation, not for them, but to understand how to help them the best way.
That's right.
Was at an appointment not too long ago, and it was like a soap shop and different natural perfumes and stuff like that. And I've got to admit, it was a little bit out of my element. And of course, I learned a lot while I was there. Very thankful for that. They showed me this natural soap that just made my hands feel so smooth. Actually, they were great at sales, because I spent a lot of money and took it home to my wife and said, look what I got you. This is great. Let me take, look, I can snap right after washing my hands. This is the greatest thing. But with me, I had a colleague who's a lady, very talented. And as we're talking with them, I am a little lost. It doesn't mean I don't know marketing. It doesn't mean I don't know how to get your message out there, but she understood it a little better than me, because these are the products that she uses on a regular basis, and she was asking questions that I didn't know to ask. And then, of course, in any other type of business, there's some that I may know more, but the fact of it is that diverse gives us the ability to achieve the goals, not only for the stations, the listeners, but for the businesses. And so to me, the more dynamic you can make any business, especially in the media, whether, again, it's the talents that are on the air, like the Tammy Thurman that we're talking to now, or if it's somebody in the sales or IT. Our IT person right now is late, and she knows so much more, and I have to go to her and I go, look, I'm not sure how to change my password. I meant to know it, and she'll explain it to me. And so I'm very blessed to be in an industry right now, or at least in our market, that is very diverse, and it really educates me on different views that I wouldn't normally know if it wasn't.
Right. So. Al, Cherry, are you listening? Are you
Yes,
on?
I am.
Yeah, so I know that you have a daughter who is working in the, what do I call it? She's a flight attendant. I don't know that arena, what it's called, but she's a flight attendant. You have a sister who works for a utility company, which I'm not going to say the name, but works for a utility company. How do you keep them encouraged in those arenas?
Well, okay, reverse that crown because I'm retired military, and I do IT, and one daughter, and personally, hands-on. I was saying before, it was play sports. She went to school for sports medicine, and then like I say, things didn't work out in that arena. So she said just came on and said she wanted to be a flight attendant. I said, if you're going to do it, put your foot in both feet at the same time and go for it and go strong. So she's been in it for over 5 years now, and she's traveled halfway to every state so far. She's enjoying it. She's very adventurous.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Pastor Fletcher.
Sure.
And I'm going to say Glenn for last because we want to get into that part. But I want to touch on an area that for so long was taboo.
Okay.
You know where I'm going. You know the direction I'm going.
I have some sneaking suspicions, but we'll know in a moment.
So, women in ministry.
Sure.
So for so long, when I grew up, Pentecostal holiness. You couldn't wear pants, you couldn't wear makeup, earrings, and really women could not minister. They couldn't get into the pulpit. They could not be ministers. This was all left up to the men. So I wouldn't say we've evolved. I wouldn't say that, but I would say that we have revelation of the word.
Sure.
Right? We have revelation of what God truly meant. And so I myself am an elder at my church. And do I jump around in everybody's pulpit? No. I feel like my pulpit is this right here, and my pulpit is in the street, in the areas of evangelism, right? What are your thoughts on encouraging women who say, feel like that they've heard God call them to ministry, but they don't know what the next steps are into actually fulfilling what God's will is?
That's a great question. And I want to if you don't, I'm going to come to it. I'm going to step back to what you've been asking thus far and just speak generally. I think in every industry, my encouragement to women is we need you. We need your voice. We need your perspective.
I love it.
We need what God put in your life. And then in this particular question, but also for all others, I love one of the things you're doing. I think when you're breaking into a new space, you need mentors. And so you described stepping in places where, you're the only one. And you go, man, I'm in a room full of, but somewhere else, there's somebody else who's been in a similar room before.
Yeah.
And I think that helps. And that, we got some ladies on our team who are stepping into some new stuff ministry-wise. And I know I've written their recommendation for like different cohorts, women in ministry cohorts. And I've written down, hey, listen, these young ladies are pioneering some new things on our team, on our staff, for our flow of ministry. Like they need your perspective, help them grow as they pioneer for us. So I think that's important for women stepping into ministry things and in every area. I think we have something interesting to look. I'm not going to get too deep into what does this Greek word mean. There's some of those places where that's where it comes down, egalitarian, complementarian, and they're, translating 1 Timothy 2:12 and a tento, a Greek word, means this or that. Without going to that depth of specificness, I think we can look at the Bible as a whole and from beginning to end, see it in its time be unbelievably freeing for women. I think at times where even some of those verses you look at it, and sometimes it makes us scratch our head like, that seems almost mean to women. And yet when you pull back, you go, actually, what the law of Moses is doing is giving women a voice in law when previously they didn't have it. They couldn't even testify, and now there's a way to do that. You see every interaction that Jesus has with women be unbelievably elevating for women's station in his time, in his culture. And when we look at the Bible that way, we've got to see that we need to make space for women to step into everything God has for them. And so I think we need to be encouraging and helpful, and I think women need to go for it, find those circumstances and places where they find themselves fulfilling what they feel like God's calling them to do.
And I love what you said, and it kind of goes back to what Brian was touching on. we need to make the space.
Sure.
Because when God puts us in a place, so you have a position, he has a position where he can elevate a lot of people. Brian can elevate a lot of people. Gary now as manager, and you as pastor, y'all have the power to make space, to make room. I know the Bible says our gift will make room for us, but when you recognize and you see that gift, we need somebody to say, I'm going to help. Not help her, I'm going to help God. I'm going to be a servant of God and help make that space for her, because I know that her gift is trying to bust through. Let me help her out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you see Jesus doing that. I mean, like, there's ladies calling him rabbi. If you go back in that time,
yeah.
You only get to call somebody rabbi if you're in their school of learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jesus has said, hey, you can learn to be able to do what I'm doing. Basically, that's what it means. You know, if somebody says rabbi, it's like, hey, you're learning to teach. So you watch Jesus create space and say, I'm gonna elevate you in a way that for all the other leaders at the time seems scandalous.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Commissioner Adams, you are an attorney by day, commissioner by day, mentor by day and night, and during the week and on the weekends. Talk to us about encouraging women who, and I've had a couple of attorneys and lawyers and so forth on the show, and they want to go in some form of law, whether it be law enforcement, whether it be judge. The 3 judges, I love my 3 judges, Tony and them. And so talk to us about how do we motivate them and keep them motivated in your area of work.
Well, I think Pastor Fletcher said it right. One of the things we do, and I think everybody talked about it, and is that when we talk about mentorship, what's the first thing that comes to your mind is we need to mentor these young folk. Well, I'm going to tell you that you need to mentor old folk too. Just because you've got into this profession doesn't mean that you actually know everything about this profession. That's right. And so when anybody, young lady, when you're leaving college or whatever, find you a mentor. Find you somebody in that workplace that can be able to help you see those things, of those pitfalls and where to go, and somebody that you can talk to, that you can confide in. That's how you get through this in life, is to be able to have those folk. Whether it's somebody that's your boss or a minister or whatever, but it's important to have a mentor. And we have to quit thinking that it's just teenagers and young folk that need mentors. I'm going to just tell you, throughout life, we all change, we all grow, and we become different creatures. And I think that sometimes people are looking to be able to change the world. And I will tell you that if you go back to the Bible, God used simple people for one task, and that was it. You never heard them again in the Bible except for that one time. God uses us all to be able to move where he wants us to be. I tell you, and I told you, Tammy, God puts you in a place where he wants you, when he wants you, for something that he needs you to do that you may not even understand. Mm-hmm. And so that's so as we have these folk that's around us. But now I will tell you that it does put an onus on all of us that are in that space. As you talk about, we have the ability to make that space. Mm-hmm. It's incumbent upon us to be able to look down and say, I want to pull you along. And see, the biggest thing I tell you about mentor, and when I try to mentor people, not to bring you where I am. Right. If I've done that, I hadn't done anything. Right. I am supposed to be your mentor. You're supposed to excel beyond me. You remember we started talking about this thing of pouring into people, not wanting anything in return. When you mentor somebody, you're pouring into them, not seeking anything in return, but to push them to their highest glory. What it is, let me unlock that talent that you can't even see. And so wherever you are, I tell everybody, if you don't feel valued, it's time to go. If you don't feel valued of what it is that I'm providing to this organization, maybe God's trying to move you somewhere else, and you've got to listen. It's scary. Change is scary. But sometimes we need that change. But you have to take that, talk to folk, make sure that that's the right decision that you're going to make. And I think that's what we all talked about today, pouring into people. And it doesn't stop. when they get to be 6. They don't stop when they get to be 15. They don't. It bothers me. I'm gonna just tell you. This is the last thing, Tam, and I'll let you go. Is that I have never understood how a parent says, at 18, you're gonna get out of my house. Okay, my kid was 17 and a half yesterday. He was silly. At 18, he's still silly.
He's still silly.
So I tell parents and I tell adults, quit listening to your friends who say your kid need to go at 18. You know your kid. You know your daughter, you know your son. I don't care if they're there at 22, 23. You do not send your kid out into the world for the devil to be able to grab.
Because that's what's going to happen.
And that's what's going to happen if you say, you got to get out of my house. Now, you do have to do some changes. We ain't going to be the same way.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to go to school. And, you know, my kids used to laugh at me because I was like, I don't care. You're not working today. You're not in school. You just sitting around. Well, when I get up and leave, we all leave, and I'm locking the door. And you don't get to come back till I come back. I don't care where you go, but you can't come back till I come back.
Yeah.
And so, but I think, you know, we have to start early again of service. If we have our kids doing service, then they understand the value of that. They understand the value of people. And I think that's what the Sisters of Nations is all about, is valuing people, valuing these young ladies, pouring into them to say, you know, if nobody else loves you, God loves you.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we have just a few minutes left. And like I said, this show has been amazing just to be able to listen to the different perspective. Because our women, we always talk, but we never get to hear what you guys are really thinking and how much, you know, you do value us and that you do care about us. And so all of my young girls that are listening now, I hope that this has really blessed you today. And I hope that if you don't have a church, or if you do have a church, I want you to immediately start finding somebody that can speak into your life and listen to them, because they love you. They truly love you. If you don't have someone, I just want you to know that you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to me on Facebook. But we have some great men right here now that you can follow up with, and I will be happy to give you their information so that they can kind of guide you, right? I always say, you know, I kind of life coach people, and what we're doing is helping them see the blind spots that they may not be able to see. I am just really excited. So I'm going to end, and I want you to kind of tell me, if you could go back to your 15-year-old self, when you were 15, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? The person you are now, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? Anybody can jump in.
Tammy, I'm going to add one thing that fortunately my mom told me that I think relates to it. And when my 15-year-old self, ironically, when you said that, my mom was a high school principal or a middle school, junior high principal when I was growing up. And I'll never forget that she was in charge of discipline. And I thought, how in the world could my mom, particularly at a time 30 years ago, being a principal in charge of discipline, you know, how would that happen? And I went in her office one day for whatever reason, there was a poster on the wall. And the poster was 100 reasons why a woman is the best man for a job. And that obviously that left an impression on me, because 30 years later I still, you know, remember that. But I think that just goes back to the question you asked, and what I would tell me is any of us, all the women out there listening, they're capable of doing anything they want to. They just have to believe in it and find a church, find people that believe in them. Yep. And if they surround themselves by that, then there's nothing that they can't do.
I love it. Thank you.
You know, it's hard. It's hard to think about because when I was 15, if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be where I am now. Okay. So I don't think I want to change that. I think everything and that's happened to me has led me to where I am right at this moment, and God has absolutely blessed me. And at 15, I wasn't in church. At 15, I wasn't worshiping God. I wasn't trying to build a relationship with Him. Do I think I would go back and say, hey, pay attention, soak up this moment, go to church, something like that? I would love to tell them that. Yeah. But I'm afraid that if I told them that, it wouldn't be where I am now. But I probably wouldn't have learned so many hard lessons. It might have been a little easier along the way. But
soak up the moment.
Soaking up moments, because they sure are fleeting, and they sure go away real fast. But I tell myself that at 40 to soak up the moment because God's got blessings and I don't want to miss out.
Al Cherry, we've got about a minute and a half left. I need you to quickly tell me what you would tell your 15-year-old self.
Hey, at 15, I was silly. Oh, no. A lot of hard lessons learned, but I was much better now in life. And life was a hard teacher sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Glenn, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? And we're going to end with Pastor Fletcher.
Try different things. Failure is a part of growth. That if you don't take those risks and don't take those chances, then Glenn, you won't grow. And you don't have any regrets of what happened, but you do look back and say, if I had done that, or if I had tried that. So I would tell my 15-year-old self, it's okay. Try some different things.
Thank you.
Meet some different people.
And we're going to end with Pastor Fletcher.
I'd say, listen, man, you should listen to all these guys. They got some really good ideas. But then what would I tell myself? I don't know if I'd listen. But what I would hope I would understand is life is about who you become. So focus on becoming who God has called you to be, and less like striving for all the things you want to do. So if I could help myself understand something, that's what I'd help myself understand.
I love it. I love it. I love it. A Nation of Sisters, you have been listening to all of our brothers today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Glenn Adams, Brian Pierce, Gary, I love you. And Pastor Fletcher, thank you so much for being with us today. Until next time, may God bless you and heaven smile upon you.
Everyone around me can have everything they need. Let all these folks that's with me, God have everything they need.
Your station for inspiration and information, 1600